Hey everyone, as you can see, I've made some progress on the shop. I've built out the base cabinets, I've added the Sys Gen 3 rails and Sys AZ drawers. Next step in the process is I want to show you how to build some doors and drawers for these base cabinets. So let's get to work. So as I like to always do, I went ahead and I drew out how I wanted to lay out my shop. I designed it for Sys Gen 3 rails as well as Sys AZ drawers. And up top here, I'm going to go ahead and build out 3 drawers to hold miscellaneous pieces. Center section over here will be all drawers. I've built one out so you can see what it's going to look like. This will be for holding larger accessories, any large pieces that won't fit in a sustainer. I haven't completely decided what I'm going to put in these areas. I'm going to go ahead and build some doors for them. 2 here and 1 across here. To complete this build, I'll be using the TSC 55K and the Capex to break down some of the sheet goods. Then I'll be using the Domino to do some of the joining. I'll use the OF 1400 and the MFK 700 on the drawers for the dados and some of the roundovers. Then I'll be using the DTS and the ETS EC 125 to do some of the finish sanding. Then I'll be using the TID and the CXS to install some of the hardware. Then I'll also be using the VAXIS for clamping. There's a lot of different ways to assemble a drawer with different joinery types, like this many. I've chosen 2. The first one is the quickest in my opinion. It's the Domino DF 500. The second way is using a locking rabbet joint by utilizing the MFT and the OF 1400 router. For the bottom of the drawer, I've decided to run a dado on all 4 sides. This encapsulates the plywood, makes for a stronger box construction. For the material on these drawers, I've gone pretty basic. Just got 3/4 inch birch plywood and then 1/2 inch pine plywood. The 3/4 inch is going to be the sides, the front, and then also the drawer front. And the 1/2 inch I'll use for the drawer bottom. Gone ahead and I've ripped down all the 3/4 inch plywood for the sides, fronts, and backs. I'll wait to cut the plywood for the bottom until I get the drawer box in the dry fit stage. You may remember in previous build series, I had a set of digital plans you could follow along with me during the build. The doors and drawers are very specific and unique to my setup. They may not fit what you're planning on building. If you'd like a basic outline, check out the link in the description below. Before we get started on cutting everything to size, let's talk about proper drawer box construction. You always want to make sure that you've got the front and the back of your drawer box in between your 2 sides. That way, if you're using a domino tenon, for example, I've got my domino going in through the side piece and through the front. Now when I pull on my drawer, I'm pulling on all 4 pieces. If I switch it around, now if I put a domino tenon in there or even a screw, as I pull on that drawer over time, that could loosen up and just pull the whole drawer front off. As I mentioned before, I've already gone ahead and ripped down this material to the correct width with the TSC 55K and a set of parallel guides. If you want to know more about how to use those, check out the link in the description. Before I cut all the pieces to size, I want to talk to you about the Capex setup. I want to design as much flexibility into it as possible. So I designed this whole row of cabinets so that it would fit in there perfectly with 8 feet on either side of the Capex, so that the Capex would be the same exact height as the MFT and these cabinets beside it. I also designed it so that I could utilize the UG brackets so that I can take this off, put it on the UG cart, and then when I'm done, bring it back and it falls right back into the same place. I chose the CT15 to use with the Capex because of its compact size and its simplified design. As with most projects I do, I like to maximize material for waste. For the drawers in this one, I know I can get 2 long pieces and 1 short out of 1 8-foot board. So let's go ahead and square this one up. For ease of use and repeatability, I went ahead and cut in a spot for a T-track, added an imperial and metric tape measure, and made my own flag stop. So now I'm ready to make the first of 2 850mm cuts. Since I've already got my flag stop set for that 850, I'll go ahead and set this aside and finish cutting all those. With the cutoffs from these pieces, I can cut my sides. So those are all going to be 355 millimeters. So I've got this board clamped down to be cut at 355 millimeters. I have a flag stop, but my tape stops at 370 millimeters. I made this stop wide enough so that I can slide it all the way down and it still grabs the T-track, locks it into place, and I can cut all my boards at 355 millimeters without having to pull out a tape measure. With all these pieces cut, the next step is to cut the dado to accept the bottom panel of the drawers. I'll be using the 1400 router, the edge guide, and the VACSys. If you want to continue with the build, click here or check this out. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to be notified when we upload new content, click that notification bell.